Here we go. Let's talk about affirmative action.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments this morning in two pivotal cases challenging the consideration of a student's race in college admissions. The cases involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina could end affirmative action as we know it at public and private schools across this country. Now, the recent polling shows that 74% of Americans oppose affirmative action. Majorities across all racial and ethnic groups say that race should not be a factor when it comes to getting into a college.
Yeah, no shit. Everybody thinks that because of the way that affirmative action has been covered in this fucking country, okay? Affirmative action, by the way, 74%. Yeah, you want to know why it's like 74% against? Because motherfuckers literally think it just means like black people who don't deserve it get to go to college instead of me, a white, okay? Affirmative action is an imperfect Band-Aid solution that doesn't even begin to make up for the racial injustices that have been a core part of American fundamentals since its inception, okay? And also, not only that, but affirmative action in the form of class is infinitely and profoundly more impactful in college admissions. I am, of course, talking about legacy admissions. Legacy admissions is significantly more impactful than affirmative action with respect to the makeup of a particular college campus, specifically when we talk about Harvard. Now, Harvard and I believe UNC is the other college that they're talking about in this court case, do something called the holistic approach, okay? The holistic approach is basically that, yes, there are demographics that they're trying to get to, like demographics ratios that they're trying to get to. However, that is a very complicated equation that is not simply just the SATs or whatever, okay? They're not just looking at the SATs. They're looking at a multitude of different factors, and that is so that the college campus resembles daily American life, okay? That's it. Now, for years and years, white people tried to attack affirmative action, and it didn't work, right? So then they decided, let's use Asian people to attack affirmative action, and this is the result. Well, actually, this isn't the result. This is a white guy still, I think. But they were tackling this by saying, well, Asian people are not allowed to go to college in the, because it's not just off of the statistical aptitude test, which Asian students are actually excelling in, right? The moment I learned that motherfuckers in America had to write entire essays about their lives to get into university, I was fucking baffled. Yeah, I did that too. So, affirmative action in and of itself is basically the Band-Aid solution, which is not even a real solution. It's also got some flaws within it because, marginalization of any marginalization markers do give you a leg up in this circumstance, allegedly, so that white ladies use it a lot too, regardless of what their class position looks like. But ultimately, it's not something you can tackle because the college admissions process is multifaceted. You can't pinpoint one thing. New Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is recused from one of the affirmative action cases currently before the court due to her past affiliation with Harvard. Longtime Justice Clarence Thomas won't recuse from the cases about the insurrection that his wife was involved in. The holistic approach is itself rooting in anti-Semitism. It was developed because too many Jews did too well on test scores, since test scores alone weren't the previous metric. Yes, it was built in the 1920s. Okay, when Harvard was like openly anti-Semitic. This person isn't wrong, except it doesn't matter because now the holistic approach is not identifiable. Or unless you're making a case that Harvard is not allowing any Jews to join Harvard or something. Affirmative action is a liberal solution that just fires on racial resentment instead of making college free. Okay. I had to cover affirmative action for a final project in college. It's the most frustrating topic to discuss in a room full of business majors. Lamau. I'm black, and some of my high school students, some of my high school classmates told me I took their place at Duke. That essentially they chose me because of my race. Duke doesn't even look at race. They look at financial need / SES. So, affirmative action, okay, is a Band-Aid. And the reason why I mentioned that it's a Band-Aid is because education is seen as the only way to generate some level of upward social mobility. And because liberals are not going to fucking solve the underlying material inequalities that consistently harm underserved communities, black and brown communities specifically, okay? They just go, oh yeah, look, we slapped up. We said if you're black, you have a better chance of getting into a college. Okay? If you want to make this process fairer, then you have to take down legacy admissions. That's it. You can no longer pay for a library wing so that your dumbass son, George W. Bush, can get into Yale. You can no longer get into Harvard or Yale specifically because your pappy and your grandpappy went there. There you go. If you truly want to solve, white supremacist racial inequality, obviously what you need to tackle is underfunding. What you need to tackle is obviously some kind of restitution, reparations, okay? And if you want to make college as a process fairer, make it free, no more paywall, no more barriers, and also eliminate legacy admissions. There you go. But liberals will do neither of those things. And Republicans will not even consider one of those things and will try to work to just delete the other thing. Affirmative action programs were created to address the legacy of slavery of 350 years of legal discrimination and exclusion, not just generalized disadvantage, but we've allowed these conversations to become so murky, and SCOTUS has ruled remedying past discrimination isn't allowed. Allowing powerful people who benefit from the status quo to pit marginalized groups against each other, including poor white people, only serves to maintain racial and economic hierarchies. We can address the singular legacy of slavery and poverty in this country. Yes. Would affirmative action help a poor white kid get into an Ivy League or hurt their chances because most of the students who go to those schools who are white would be from feeder schools or legacy students? They would fill in for the above slots for the demographic, white slots for the demographic. If I'm not mistaken, affirmative action does not factor in your class, even though the holistic approach certainly does. But it need not matter because it's not just affirmative action that is the reason for why Harvard has the demographics that it does. Most Americans cannot afford to simply fly to another country, study abroad, and be away from family while paying for housing, books, and transportation. There's a reason you don't see poor black kids just moving to Norway. Yeah. Yeah, there is no, like, slots for white students. Like, there is no racial quotas. It's literally the difference between Kanye West saying, I want more black students in STEM. I want more black engineers in STEM versus Kanye West saying, I don't want any Jews in my company. Okay? Republicans try to make it seem like when Kanye West says, I want more black engineers in STEM, which, by the way, Kanye West said both of those things, obviously, so it's a little bit different. But if Kanye West had simply stated, we need more black engineers, okay, and didn't say the second thing, and then people try to turn around and say, no, it's the second thing, actually, that's what they're saying, then yeah, that's the affirmative action conversation. At the end of the day, Harvard has to market themselves to stay on top. No one wants to go to a school with 95% the same background of people. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the ADOS movement shit, Noah B, because it's unhinged and boring and not as like, Anyway, in my opinion, we should all just state it what it is, repetitions. It's good to have repeated, but let's not pretend that libs are going to solve the actual issue at Harvard just by finishing a school for the elite. Yeah, what? Chatter literally received an affirmative action mailer today. Funny enough, this came in the mail. Biden and the left want to decide who gets hired and who gets fired according to their skin color. Even pilots will be chosen based on skin color, not their flying ability. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I mean, when you get stuff like this, of course you're going to go fucking insane. This looks like it was written by an unhinged psychopath.
I'm worried about is that the rule that you're advocating, that in the context of a holistic review process, a university can take into account and value all of the other background and personal characteristics of other applicants, but they can't value race. What I'm worried about is that that seems to me to have the potential of causing more of an equal protection problem than it's actually solving. And the reason why I get to that possible conclusion is
people love acting like hyper rational vessels, right? They love thinking about society as though it's well, we need more STEM majors. Everyone should do STEM. And also, we need to make sure that the only reason why people can get into college is the SATs. Like, no, motherfucker, that's not how this shit works. If everyone was a STEM major and there were no art majors, your user interface would be dog shit, okay? Everyone plays a role in society. And if all colleges were just simply working off the SAT or the ACT, then again, you would have a very weird makeup. You would not want that anyway. Art majors do user interface now? Motherfucker, who is designing shit? Who is designing the UI? I'm not talking about the coding. You fucking no. There are definitely people, art majors, that touch a part of the fucking design. What are you talking about? Oh my God, dude. He said front-end developer. Digital arts and design is STEM. It doesn't matter. There is still art majors that play a fucking component in the way that certain buttons are supposed to look a certain way. Why are people doing this? UI is only one component of this. But the fucking art that came down at a certain point passed through someone who's a fucking art major. You are being purposely fucking obtuse when you talk about this. You are a fucking annoying STEM lord who is behaving like video games, movies, and applications do not have a single fucking art major touching it, okay? It is deeply frustrating. Chatter is being obtuse. Art and design people 1000% do UI. Not the same thing as a front-end developer. I'm a senior product designer, BFA in visual communication, art. I work as a dev in FAA Ang, and you are 100% correct. All designers are art people. It's just like, dude, I wish I don't know where some of you dumb motherfuckers who are STEM lords, actually, half of the dumb motherfuckers that do that aren't even STEM lords, because Real STEM lords understand their own fucking boundaries, okay? At least the STEM lords I know. All the fucking STEM lords I know are like, yeah, I don't know how to do any of that shit. That shit sucks. Leave that up to someone who does know how to work it. Half of you motherfuckers are liberal arts majors, like Tucker Carlson, like Steven Crowder, who turn around and act like they're STEM lords in the chat in an effort to do a debate, okay? You're like a business major, and you're defending the values of STEM. That's what you're doing. You're like an econ guy, okay, learning a fake, made-up astrology science. And you're here to defend the hyper-logical fucking STEM lords. My favorite type of person is like the fake STEM lord defender.
Thinking about two applicants who would like to have their family backgrounds credited in this applications process, and I'm hoping to get your reaction to this hypothetical. The first applicant says, I'm from North Carolina. My family has been in this area for generations, since before the Civil War, and I would like you to know that I will be the 5th generation to graduate from the University of North Carolina. I now have that opportunity to do that, and given my family background, it's important to me that I get to attend this university. I want to honor my family's legacy by going to this school. The second applicant says, I'm from North Carolina. My family's been in this area for generations, since before the Civil War, but they were slaves and never had a chance to attend this venerable institution. As an African American, I now have that opportunity, and given my family background, it's important to me to attend this university. I want to honor my family legacy by going to this school. Now, as I understand your no race conscious admissions rule, these two applicants would have a dramatically different opportunity to tell their family stories and to have them count. The first applicant would be able to have his family background considered and valued by the institution as a part of its consideration of.
I think legacy should work against your favor. Like, literally. It's like, bitch, go to a different college. You know what I mean? Too many of your parents have come here. Come on, go somewhere else. Go to South Carolina. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's wild. But of course, you can't fucking say that, because legacy admissions is a fundamental part of capitalist mentality. Capitalist mentality dictates that you work super hard so your children have a fucking leg up, because we cannot imagine a world in which the government handles some of that, okay? And that there is a true equal footing and an equal starting point. Americans love talking about equal opportunity, but have never actually even wanted to come near equal opportunity. We all recognize that meritocracy is a lie at a certain point. That's precisely why we work really fucking hard to make sure the next generation is better off than we are, okay? Because we know that there is such a thing as a fucking leg up that you can offer your children. That's why you work so hard. If there was truly equal opportunity, okay, if that was afforded to every single person, then yeah, no one would be doing that. Maybe some people would be, because you still want a leg up. That's understandable. Is it true that you're shitting your pants even thinking about reacting live to Andrew Tate now that he's converted? You even tweeted one day that you will react live on stream about his conversion, then you shut up about it? Doesn't matter that his misogyny is only getting worse now? What? This guy is more upset that Andrew Tate converted to Islam than Andrew Tate's misogyny. Like, he said, the number one advocate of misogyny on the internet is now somehow more misogynistic because he's Muslim. Oh, and by the way, there's reason for me to believe this. Have you seen the latest harassment attacks from parents demanding and banning LGBTQ books in school board? It's sad that even Michigan is now under the wrap of some deranged parents hell-bent on wanting LGBTQ out of existence. I know exactly what this is because we banned his chatter's other fucking sock account. It's like Muslim parents. Okay, here, this is it. Yep, there you go. Heated debate on book banning resumes at Dearborn schools during the second board meeting. Oh, no, I can't believe it, dude. I cannot believe that this guy cares so much about LGBTQ rights only when it is to shit on Muslim people. I cannot believe that this guy who's on his 11th sock account is only here to talk about Andrew Tate's misogyny when it is to shit on Muslim people. Yeah, by the way, for the record, you want to hear something? Fuck those Dearborn, Michigan parents that are fucking talking about banning LGBT books from their fucking schools. Those parents can suck my dick, okay? Why in the ever-loving fuck would you ever assume that I would be on board with some fucking psychotic fundamentalists because they've decided that they want to fucking shit on gay queer teenagers and gay queer knowledge from a Muslim perspective? You, my friend, are a fucking idiot. That is projection. You thought just because I'm from a Muslim background that I would somehow be too cowardly or too hypocritical not to fucking shit on fundamentalist weirdos. Those guys are fundamentalist conservatives. I hate conservatism, not religion. Okay? Holy shit. By the way, this is why sometimes I don't address this sort of stuff and just ban and move on. Some of you might be thinking in the chat, Hasan, I can't believe one little thing that you just mentioned, that this chatter mentioned, set you off and you fucking deleted them from existence. You surely want to build an echo chamber. No, motherfucker, because I can read you like an open book. I do this every fucking day. I do this every goddamn day of my life. I know exactly where you're coming from when you say dumb shit like this. That's why it was that easy for me to clap this dude's ass cheeks and blow it out of fucking orbit. 2 takes is all it took. You should be embarrassed, by the way, of how fucking predictable you are. You should be embarrassed. You behave quite literally like a fucking NPC. It's so easy to read you. It is so easy to address your idiotic fucking takes. Hasan's free speech, Keck W, he's malding. Me? No, I mean, this was pretty entertaining if you ask me. It's just kind of sad that, like, these fucking haters can't even, craft new and unique perspectives in here. He got what he wanted, 3 minutes of talking about it? Yeah, sure. I mean, so what? I will shit on bigots no matter what their background is, regardless, every time. In my opinion, there is nothing. It's no different to see like a bunch of fucking radical, weirdo, fundamentalist conservatives going to a fucking school meeting in Dearborn, Michigan, than giving them the exact same hell that I give to white evangelical zealots, you know?
Of whether or not to admit him, while the second one wouldn't be able to, because his story is in many ways bound up with his race.
Gets mad? Oh, no, I'm not mad. Brother, I think at a certain point you have to realize, big man, Daddy Dorito, and everyone else, I'm making content. I'm making educational and entertaining content. That's part of the reason why you're here and not harassing some other, some queer trans content creator with like 35 following like you normally would, because you're a gigantic piece of shit. You're in here right now because you're like, I want to go test out and try to bully some, larger leftist content creators. Okay. I'm going to use that as an opportunity to make engaging, entertaining commentary off of your idiocy. Okay. It can make you happy and make you feel like you've accomplished something. Okay. Like you got me upset or something like that. Okay. And I'm happy to be the magnet that pulls you away from, going out and finding marginalized content creators to shit on them. You can say, Latroll, did you get mad, Snowflake, or whatever the fuck, right? Like it's still 2014 and you're desperately clinging on to the halcyon days of Poll and 4chan. But ultimately, I'm using you. You're stupid. I'm using you for content. I'm making content out of you, and 30,000 people are laughing at you. This is no different than the last time you said some really stupid shit and the fucking high school bully called you out for it and everyone laughed at you. Okay? This is exactly like that, except this is supposed to be your field. You're anonymous. We're online. You're supposed to be fucking clapping up here because you can lie and act like you're not this pathetic, pasty little fucking loser. You can act like you're a 6'6", giga-chad jawed, mustachioed, handsome gentleman who's here to make logical arguments and destroy me. And even now, we're in your fucking field. This is where you're supposed to thrive. And people are still pointing their finger at you and laughing at you because guess what? You're not the logical fucking big brain genius that your mommy told you you were. Okay? You're just a fucking idiot. You can become one. I'm telling you, you can become one. But right now, you're just content for me. But the starting point is moving away from these circles that have filled your head with lies, okay? This guy has one chat and you claim he's a bigot. Are you mentally there? That's rude and weird. While I was typing out this, you made assumptions. Someone else claiming they're pasty and white, and now you're calling him an idiot. You're getting weird, says Stormung. Get help. Take a look at this guy. Big man Daddy Dorito is right, though. I'll just say this, Tate mentality. I'll just say this. If you don't understand how right-wing weirdos behave on the internet, and that those two fucking takes were a perfect assessment of how they are, because like that person was there on a sock account deliberately to derail the stream because they thought that they caught me in some hypocritical position, right? If you don't understand it, leave it to someone like myself who does, right? Just leave it. Leave it to someone like myself who does understand it better than you. Okay? Also, you don't have to come out and be like, I'm pasty and nerdy. Why are you fucking calling me out? Dude, please check the validity of the site so you're not spreading falsehoods. Oh, you're the one playing Lamont Blame in chat. Not a Tate fan. That was reactionary. I love how they play civility politics. Yeah, by the way, I'm not a civil person, Stormung. I'm not. Especially if you yourself are coming in here to be like, oh, I caught you. I caught you in a fucking mental trap. Haha. So, anyway, usually I ban people like you. Today I'm in a better mood, so I'm not going to. And I usually ban you because you try to derail the stream and center it around yourself. All right, let's move on.